Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about the last D&D crisis of 2023. I want to talk about the D&D accusation, OSR embarrassment, the OSR tetherball bonk that happened at the end of 2023, which was when Dungeons and Dragons unveiled the art for the 2024 core rulebooks, which was done by Nestor Osandin, and a painting that will go down in the history of humanity, not in the history of Dungeons and Dragons, but as in the history of humanity, as permanently solving the AI art problem. And refreshingly, making sure that the AI art problem is 100% dead for 2024. And none of us ever need to say another word about AI art, right? Because it's solved, by Nestor Osandin and by Dungeons and Dragons. It's truly astounding. And it boggles the mind, all the things that have been happening on Dungeons and Dragons in 2023. It's astounding. You would not have thought you could cram more into the year for Dungeons and Dragons, but apparently we can. So let's do it. All right. So I want to talk about how Dungeons and Dragons permanently solved the AI problem. So the AI problem, let's define it, right? People were like, "Hey, who's going to hire a human artist when AI can make better art," right? And the answer was nobody. Because if you can get better art from AI, you want the best art you can get, and that's why people were using AI. Period. End of sentence. Right? And that was a huge problem. And a lot of companies were like, "Oh well, people frown when you use AI, so we're going to try to look progressive and not hire non-human art creators to make art, the best art that exists, the best art that's ever been made. We'll just keep hiring humans because people don't get upset then," right? And so that what was happening, right? But then Dungeons and Dragons, and this is what astounds me, is like, I've been coming here and telling you, hey, Dungeons and Dragons can change the lives of dungeon masters and dungeon performers, people who play player characters at Dungeons and Dragons tables, right? But I was wrong. Like, Dungeons and Dragons can literally fix humanity, right? This was not a tabletop role-playing game problem. This was not a Dungeons and Dragons problem. The AI art problem was a human problem, which Dungeons and Dragons just fully solved. Okay, so let me walk you there, hand by hand. All right, take my hand, and I'm going to lead you to the answer. All right, here we go. Okay, so what happened? Well, here we go. This is truly astonishingly astounding, absolutely incredible. Okay, so Nestor Osandin is a perfect artist, right? And he's amazing. He's worked on his skills for years. He is a perfect fantasy artist, just absolutely incredible with his skill set, right? And then Dungeons and Dragons came along and goes, "Listen, we've commissioned, Dungeons and Dragons creates Magic the Gathering cards. Here's Baldur's Gate. Here's here's Theros. Here's Strixhaven. Here's Forgotten Realms. Here's all these. We've made thousands of pieces of art for Dungeons and Dragons on cards, right? And we put some in our books too, right? But we have mastered commissioning fantasy art, and you're the perfect artist, and we're going to be the perfect patron. We're going to give you the time, the money, and the momentum, and the perfect project, which was the 2024 core rulebooks, which are astounding. And I really think Nestor Osandin, he was given everything, not just money, not just time, right? But they were like, "Hey, listen, the art you're going to give us is going to go on the first forever edition. There will never be another edition of Dungeons & Dragons. One D&D forever. There will never be a 6e. We will end editions for every tabletop role-playing game in the world. There'll always just be one edition," right? That is incredibly helpful to FLGS. It's incredibly helpful to Dungeon Masters. Incredibly helpful to Dungeon Performers, because it's what's needed, right? And so he was given everything. He was given momentum. He was given inspiration. He was given money. He was given time. Perfect artist, perfect patron, right? And what we got was perfect art, right? Art that was that OSR and indie champions immediately cried foul on and said, "This art is so good that no human being could have made it. It was made by a computer, And not only do we humans say it was made by a computer, but this computer, this piece of software says it was made by a computer. That no human could have made this, right? And they were all embarrassed, all shocked, all ashamed, right? When they were incredibly wrong, completely wrong about Nestor Sandin. And his work is literally better than any computer has made, right? And really, not only, and Nestor Sandin has done something that even surpasses Gary Kasparov beating Deep Blue, right? It's just saying, listen, yes, you can go, anybody who wants to use AI art, go do it, right? Go do it. You know why? Because you're going to get crap art, right? If you want good art, if you want the best art, you hire a human being. You want to know who proved that? Nestor Sandin, powered by Dungeons and Dragons, proved it. Only people who want lesser art get AI art. AI art can never, ever equal the perfection that could be achieved by a human artist, right? So the debate about AI art is over. Anybody who wants to put subpar art in their product can do it. Go forth. Put all the subpar art you want. If you want the best art in the world, you can only get it with a human creator, a human artist, right? So yes, AI are absolutely allowed to make art. They make subpar art, right? And Nestor Sandin proved that the best artists in the world are human, right? And he was only able to do that because Dungeons and Dragons allowed him to do that. Nobody else could have allowed him to do that. Nobody else could have given him the time, the money, the inspiration, and the momentum to do this, right? The other, could you imagine some crap video game trying to get good art out of Nestor Sandin? Hey, why don't you plop your art on our disgusting video game, right? And which nobody cares about, right? Like, they'll pay lots of money, but they'll flip in a minute, right? But Dungeons and Dragons is something real and special. This one American, Gary Gygax, made something tremendous in 1974, and it's transforming lives throughout the world and serves as an identity engine today, right? Nothing in video games is even close, right? And they're like, not only are you going to be honoring Gary Gygax 50 years after he, brought a third form of freedom to humanity, right? But you're also going to be ending editions forever. Nothing else could have given this inspiration. And so in one event, Nestor Sandin and Dungeons and Dragons end the AR art debate forever. Hey, am I allowed to use an AR artist? Everybody's answer is the same now. Yeah, go ahead. Serve up some piece of crap art. If you want good art, you get a human to do it, right? AI art sucks compared to Nestor Sandin. No computer in the world can do a better painting than Nestor Sandin can, because humans win, right? And that couldn't have been, and in my humble opinion, that absolutely could not have been done without Dungeons and Dragons. They're the only individual of humans who was able to put an artist in a position where they could absolutely defeat the computer. Nestor Sandin is he is the man who hammered, the rail ties in and beat the steam machine, right? It's incredible. John, I can't remember right now, sorry. But it's astounding. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.